this is kind of a hot button topic, is what's the best bookkeeping solution or software for real estate investors, because there are so many amazing tools now that are for real estate investors that offer bookkeeping, that will offer like a bookkeeping functionality. So for example, AppFolio or Buildium or Rent Manager are the three that I see come up the most often. And while these tools are so amazing for so many aspects of real estate investors' business, like collecting rent or managing repair requests or things like that, I do find that the bookkeeping functionality still falls a bit short, which is why we're using QuickBooks Online for all of our clients. There really is a reason why these platforms, they all integrate with QuickBooks, and that's because you just aren't getting the same functionality from a bookkeeping accounting perspective out of those softwares that you get in QuickBooks. So for example, some things you want to look out for is, I know specifically with Buildium and AppFolio, right now you can't connect your credit cards directly to that platform. So you have to manually enter transactions from your credit card into one of those softwares, and all of our clients are using credit cards. They're mostly using like Lowe's or Home Depot cards to pay for all of their rehab activity. So it's really a pain to have to enter all of that in manually. The other option is to connect that platform to QuickBooks and bring in your credit card transactions, which at that point, you're still using QuickBooks. Another thing that I find a little bit difficult with those softwares right now is that you can't delete any of your bookkeeping transactions. So for example, every month, if we have one or two transactions left that we want to ask our clients about, we'll book it to like a TBD account just so that we can, keep moving forward, get our books closed monthly, get the reporting to our clients. And it's easy in QuickBooks to just, once we know where that transaction should go, we delete the TBD transaction, we put it in the right category, easy. We don't have to worry about, reversing anything. Whereas in Buildium and AppFolio, you can't actually delete a transaction. You have to reverse what you did prior and then book it correctly, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but from an accounting, like audit trail standpoint, it can really make your books hard to follow. When you need to go back and see something and you have to see, oh, I reversed this 3 times, it can be really difficult to follow. So it's a small feature that I think makes a big difference. Another reason that some of those real estate specific bookkeeping platforms, or they're real estate specific platforms that have a bookkeeping functionality, fall short are the inability to run reports by both business and by property. This is one of the best features of QuickBooks for real estate investors, is that you can really get a holistic picture of your business while still being able to slice up the information however you want to see it. And another thing that I find that falls a bit short with those softwares is entering any complex transactions. So for example, like a purchase or refinance, a complicated loan situation, can be rather difficult to enter into a platform like that it's very easy with a journal entry in QuickBooks. So that's the reason that we use QuickBooks Online for all of our clients. We really truly think it's the best bookkeeping platform for real estate investors. And we do actually, a lot of our clients will have Buildium for their property management side of things. And what we do is we take the owner statement out of Buildium every month and we use it to book the transactions in QuickBooks. So Buildium is, the software that they use to manage their rental properties and all things like that. And then QuickBooks is really the house of all things accounting and bookkeeping. And we have access to QuickBooks as their bookkeeper, and their accountant, their tax CPA has access to go in there as well. So that's what we find works really well for our clients. And if you need some tips for transitioning from maybe one of those other platforms to QuickBooks Online, what we recommend is, if you can, it's always easier to start at the beginning of a year, so that when you have your year-end tax reporting, you get everything out of one system. So what we do is we take your most recent tax return, your last filed tax return, we use that to bring in all of your fixed asset balances. To start in the new QuickBooks subscription, we'll connect your bank accounts, your credit cards. That way all of your opening balance sheet information is there, and we'll bring in all the transactions through the bank feed and the credit card feed for the current year that we're catching up into QuickBooks, and categorize everything. So we find that's the easiest way to do it, is really starting from the point of the most recent tax return.